Oh, hi. I'm Anthony Daniels. You probably know me as C-3PO from the Star Wars saga. Well, I'm here today at Propstore to give you a sneak preview of my private Star Wars collection. You know, I've been involved with Star Wars for nearly 50 years now. Can you imagine? I think I was around 27 years old, roughly, when I first met George Lucas. 50 years later, I don't know, it's time to move on, time to put things away, time to look into the future. Why am I moving all these things on? It's because I've never had a house big enough for a big private collection. And I've seen other people's, major fans around the world have rooms full of glass boxes and vitrines and so on, displaying dust-free and environments that will look after the items. I've never had a room big enough for that. I'm not sure I would have ever done it myself. But then I realized over the last few years that a lot of these things are in boxes and in cupboards and in the attic and whatever. And nobody gets to share them. Nobody gets to say, wow, this really was on a movie set and this, was worn by Anthony Daniels, whatever. And it just seemed a sensible point in my life to share in this way that there's items from, something that probably is worth quite a lot of money, or if you're a major collector, then maybe, this is the piece you're looking for. And probably this is one of the most valuable. But in the auction, there's also things like trading cards that, don't have, for the most part, an intrinsic value, unless you are trying to get the full set, and people do want to do that. But you can bid, I assume, for a single trading card if you want. Because I would like the whole collection of items to be spread really around the world, because there are people who just like something, a treasure of the original, artwork and stuff I've touched. And then there's people who really do want a high-end piece to maybe complete what is in their little museum. I think it would be impossible sitting here not to say that this probably is my favorite. There are near favorites, but this one, you have to realize that back in 1975 and early 76, the team were creating this costume around a model of my body. And it was Liz Moore, the sculptor, who really defining piece for me was eventually seeing this wonderful face and the calm, sadness, the kind of distant quality that he has, very much replicated what Ralph McQuarrie's painting showed me in the original meeting with George Lucas. And so to see this artifact, this piece of art, still makes me quite moved, actually, because there's a serenity in Liz's artwork that is beautiful in repose, but when I was actually wearing the item, I could make it work as almost like a moving face, which it wasn't. And one of the clever things, which I only just realized when I was mucking around with Photoshop, that I thought, oh, I know, I'll just flip one side and repeat it and, make a full face. And it's not like that at all. Liz created a face of a machine that's actually like a human face, which is asymmetric, that it's not a complete copy one side to the other. And I think that helped give it a kind of humanity that we see on the screen. So yes, this would be one of my big favorites. And this particularly is the head that I wore when 3PO fell off the mountain when he was attacked by the sand person. And so the art department put a bump in the head there and a graze on the chin and a bit of scratch there. And I wore it a few scenes after that, and for some reason then production decided, we'll go back to the ordinary head again. So that definitely is one of my favorites, and then I can see beyond that the original script. Wow, the original script for the Star Wars. The Star Wars. Oh yes. Well, I'm so grateful and kind of relieved that you have Propstore's taken on the responsibility for all of these objects, which will mean so much to so many people around the world. And I'm just so glad we've met, and will love to see the results and see the faces of people who acquire something. Hopefully I'll hear about what happens. And I will say goodbye. He's very much in my head, so that's okay. I'm curiously in his. Bit of a joke there. It's quite clever. Thanks for having me.